Hello, welcome back to a chapter a day. It is Monday, May the 13th, and I am going to be reading Numbers chapter 12 because yesterday I missed the reading. Again, just getting things done and just was not able to fit it in, but it was also Mother's Day, so I guess it was my prerogative to kind of, do it the best way that I can. And I'm using my niece's room to record, and she has rearranged her desk so everything is just back of the window, and I have been trying like 6-7 times to angle the camera in a way that I won't look like a shadow. I might still come out looking like a shadow. So you really need to be paying attention to what you're hearing rather than what you're seeing. So let's give it our best shot. See how it works, okay? And we talked the last time when we read about the children of Israel, and it's really, really warm. And if you can see me, I am really and truly reacting to the heat. But we're going to get this done today. We were talking about the children of Israel asking for meat. So we kind of came off of the Levites, and now we're on the children of Israel. So God granted them the meat. Thank God the fan just started working. Thank you, Lord, for something positive at the start. Yes, He granted them the meat, but it did not do them too well because it started to affect them in the way that they were plagued. Whatever was in the meat, they got plagued by it, and we told them it will be coming out their nostrils even. So they were really not going to have a good experience with all the meat that they requested, because God was angry with the people. They were getting manna and they didn't think it maybe was good enough, so they started to grouse and they wanted meat. Okay, now moving on to chapter 12. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. And they said, hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it. Now the man Moses was very meek, above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. And the Lord spake suddenly unto Moses and unto Aaron and unto Miriam, Come out ye three unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. And the Lord came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. Wow. So here we have a little switch again as to what's taking place, because now, for some reason, we get this thing, we look at others, we see what's happening in their lives, and we try to match it up and think to ourselves, you know what? Why couldn't I be doing that? Or who said that he or she alone could do this? Come on, people. God gives to each of us as He deems best. But this is what happened. Aaron and Miriam started to talk against Moses. Like maybe, hey, maybe I don't think he alone. Who is he? Look at him. He can't even speak well. It's just my interpretation. And God is giving him messages to give to the rest of us. And Aaron maybe chided in, yeah, I'm the one really carrying the message. I should be the one to address the people too. And I'm not sure what part Miriam thought she should play. In addition, Moses' wife seemed to be a bone of contention for them. Now, we are saying Ethiopian woman because of her color. Could have been Ethiopian woman because of her nationality, or whatever else it may have been. Okay? So we take it the fact she was Ethiopian. Ethiopians are black, so we say it's because she was black. So anyway, God wasn't pleased, and this is a good message for the rest of us who like to talk against others for whatever reason, whether it is ethnicity, color, social status, religious affiliation. When we start to talk about people, we don't know their relationship with God, especially if we do know this is someone who trusts in God. And I know I have been guilty of this, and I have to check myself not to say anything against God's people. It is not necessary. Even if we might think something, we make sure we get rid of that thought even. If someone is for God, you are going against God when you say anything against them. So God called 3 of them together. You see, he didn't just call Aaron and Miriam. He called Aaron, Miriam, and Moses, because 3 of them were involved. They were talking about Moses. Verse 6, and he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. Ouch. That is a good example for us today. When we decide to try and take things into our own hands and change things that God has already set up. When God has put things in place, who are we to talk against it? All that while, for years, 2 years or more now, they are out of Egypt. Who did God use to bring them out? Who did God use to talk to? Who went up and spoke with God? To whom did God call into the tabernacle and the cloud came down to show that he was there? It was Moses. To whom did God give that authority to work miracles when the children of Israel were to cross the Red Sea, when they were to get water, when they were to get manna, when they were to get anything? It was through Moses. Why in heaven's name would it even cross your mind to say that he is not the one or the only one? Yes, he is. And if he wasn't, God will let you know, or whoever else know, sooner or later. And in addition, whoever he married, that was his choice. God is working with him, married to the Ethiopian woman as it is. Why do we do these things? Nothing but the devil inciting foolishness in our minds, and we are bringing it out in our actions. But God is not pleased, and we need to remember that. So God, he departed from them by moving the cloud off of the tabernacle. That means he was out. And Miriam became leprous. Verse 11, and Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not this sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb. And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, Heal her now, O God, I beseech thee. And the Lord said unto Moses, If her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that let her be received in again. And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days, and the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought in again. And afterward the people removed from Hazeroth and pitched in the wilderness of Paran. So God is not happy when we talk against each other and talk against his anointed people. If they've done something, we go to them maybe and talk with them, but we don't try to talk against them, murmur against them. Bad speaking, ill speaking, backbiting, all of these things, as God's people, we ought not to be practicing. Okay? It is not right in God's sight. God is not happy about it. And he showed this here with Miriam. So when Moses pleaded for her to be healed right away, God said no. If she had gotten spat in the face by her father, now I know there was a custom or a custom or some sort of a practice among the people. If the daughter had done something wrong, I'm not sure to what in what situation, and the father spat in her face, then she would be unclean and had to be put out of the camp for 7 days. So her leprosy was to be treated just the same, and after 7 days, then she would be allowed back in. And that's the end of chapter 12. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go right into chapter 13, and we're going to be up to date once again. And today is May 13th. So here we go, chapter 13. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Send thou men, that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man, every one a ruler among them. And Moses, by the commandment of the Lord, sent them from the wilderness of Paran. All those men were heads of the children of Israel, and this is the list of them. Reuben, from the tribe of Reuben, you had Shammua. Of the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat. Of the tribe of Judah, Caleb. Of the tribe of Issachar, Igal. Of the tribe of Ephraim, Oshai. Of the tribe of Benjamin, Palti. Of the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel. Of the tribe of Joseph, namely of the tribe of Manasseh, Gadai. Of the tribe of Dan, Amiel. Of the tribe of Asher, Sethur. Of the tribe of Naphtali, Nabi. Of the tribe of Gad, Guel. These are the names of the men which Moses sent to spy out the land. Well, now we have to remember, this is a land that they are in the wilderness heading towards Canaan. After Jacob and his sons left and their families left Canaan before the famine or during the famine to go to Egypt to live with Joseph during the famine. Of course, the land is not going to remain vacant. People are seeing, and I'm sure it was a goodly land as God had described it. And people moved in. They were not of God's people. They were not God's people. They didn't even believe in God. And God said, that land you all are going to reclaim. So when they're going to get the land of Canaan, I know we're always thinking they're going to take people's land. No, that was their land initially. But when they left, of course, people moved in. So now they're going back to take over the land, okay? All right, so these are the heads of the tribes. Each tribe sent someone to spy out the land, as a representative to spy out the land, as Moses had been requested to do. So continuing with verse 16. And Moses called Oshai, the son of Nun, Yehoshua. So I guess he's naming him Joshua. So Oshai's name, and Oshai was representing, let's see, the tribe of Ephraim. Okay, so he changed his name to Yehoshua, and I'm thinking that was Joshua. And Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said unto them, Get you up this way southward, and go up into the mountain, and see the land what it is, and the people that dwelleth therein, whether they be strong or weak, few or many, and what the land is that they dwell in, whether it be good or bad, and what cities they be that they dwell in, whether in tents or in strongholds. And what the land is, whether it be fat or lean, whether there be wood therein or not, and be ye of good courage, and bring up the fruit of the land. Now the time was the time of the first ripe grapes. So here they are going out to spy the land, all 12 of those names that I just read, each one representing a tribe of Israel. And they are supposed to see what the land is. What are we up against? Is it a mountainous land? Is it flat? Are the people, you know, very tall? Are they, or what do they look like? And what type of fruits are in the land? We are going to live there. We need to know what we're going to have to eat, okay? All right, so they're looking to see what they're up against. Verse 21, so they went up and searched the land from the wilderness of Zin unto Rehob, as men come to Hamath. And they ascended by the south and came unto Hebron, where Ahiman, Sheshai, and Talmai, the children of Anak, were. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. And they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes. And they bare it between two upon a staff. And they brought of the pomegranates and of the figs. The place was called the brook of Eshcol, because of the cluster of grapes which the children of Israel cut down from thence. And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. Now, wow. Imagine one cluster of grapes, one bunch of grapes has to be carried by 2 men on their shoulders, on a pole. I think that's what they described it as. 2 men had to bear 1 cluster of grapes. When we have a cluster of grapes today, we can hold it in our hands like this. They had to put it on their shoulders. It was huge. That is just to tell you. Okay. So they spent 40 days. I want you to always remember the numbers that keeps being repeated when we read the Bible. We have 5 and 40. Remember some of those numbers. I believe that 7 I should say, not 5, 7, 40. These are 2 of the numbers that I notice are usually used. I call them God's numbers. I think the number 9 is also one. I said 5, 7, 9, and 40 is the other one. That's just me. Verse 26, and they went and came to Moses and to Aaron and to all the congregation of the children of Israel unto the wilderness of Paran to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and unto all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told him and said, we came unto the land whither thou sentest us, and surely it floweth with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. So now everyone is giving all of the negative sort of reports about how tall the people are. Well, the fruits were speaking for themselves. The fruits are good. It is a land that flows with milk and honey. So they gave some good reports. But then they started, well, the people are strong. The city is walled. And you have all of these real, maybe warlike groups, Amalekites and Hittites, etc., living there in the mountains. Then Caleb comes in and said, hey, you know what? Let's just go and take the land. Okay, now let's see what happens. Verse 31. But the man that went up with him said, we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, the land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw in it are men of a great stature. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. So you had them tell all the good things about the fruit and how beautiful the land was, flowing with milk and honey. But the men are going to be too strong for us. We can't take them. They have giants there from the sons of Anak. And we are just little grasshoppers in their sight. Now, I am sure those men that they saw were really big. You know what? We have to understand, when God made Adam and Eve, they had a stature that's not like ours. They did not look like us in maybe the height, and I'm not sure what their features look like. Nobody knows what they look like. But God made them, so they were grand. If the cluster of grapes had to be carried by 2 men, you know the men of the land also are something to see. This was Canaan that God gave to Jacob, to Israel, way back when. They left it because they had to go to Egypt to escape the famine. God is sending back his seed and his sons and their descendants back to the land of Canaan, because that's the promised land he had for them. But there are people inhabiting it, people who were not supposed to be there. But you know what? Empty land means first come, first served. Well, who take all, winner takes all. And nobody is there, so I'm going to move in and inhabit. Okay? So now they are there, and God sent, they sent the spies to look at the land. They came back with good reports, but then negative reports as to how they can actually take over the land. So this is the end of chapter 13. We will see what happens after they've given their report. Caleb is the only one to stand up and say, hey, you know what? We can take them. Let's go. Let's go take the land. Faith and trust in God. We don't do things of our own accord if we keep that in mind. God's at our back. God is urging us on. Move on, move on, move on. And if God is saying move on, we move on. God is with us. God is at our back. If we can live like that every day, we will accomplish some awesome things. But we need to remember that God within us is stronger than those demons running around in the world. But we are seeing and we are afraid. Just like they did, we see the gruesome looks of these people, the foul words that come out of their mouths, their aggressive behaviors, and we cower and we cower. And as God's people, they are shouting and making all kinds of noise and saying all kinds of nonsense. And we are cowering to even say God or Jesus in public because it's offensive. They are more offensive than anyone else, but we are shy and ashamed to call on God's name and to talk to God and to tell people about God when we should. Let's not make the same mistakes like back then. The children of Israel, or the spies. We are spies in this world. As a matter of fact, we already know what the land contains. So we are supposed to go forward, move through it. We're not staying in this land. We are moving forward to the New Jerusalem, to heaven first, and then on to the earth made new. So we need to take the land and keep on moving and let nothing sway our minds from the left to the right. There's a lot going on in this world, but that's not what we are supposed to be focused on. Okay, and pray as we move forward. So that's the end of our reading. We did 2 chapters today, 12 and 13. We are back on par, and I thank you once again for listening, for viewing, and I hope you're being inspired. I hope it's inciting thoughts in your minds and questions and whatever comments. Share them with me. And once again, thank you for listening. Remember, faith comes by hearing God's word. Have a great day. Bye.